Marshalas Episode 3 trailer. The story picks up right where the previous episode left fans on edge. The Marshalas are already deep into a dangerous investigation, chasing criminals who seem to be one step ahead at every turn. Every move feels risky, every decision feels heavier, and the pressure on the team is stronger than ever. At the center of it all stands Kayce. Calm, focused, and always ready to face danger head-on, he has become the backbone of the mission. But this time, the enemies they are hunting aren't ordinary criminals. These people are organized, patient, and incredibly dangerous. They know how the Marshalas work, and somehow they always seem prepared before the law even arrives. As the trailer unfolds, the sense of danger grows stronger. Something about this case feels different. It's not just another pursuit or another arrest. There's a deeper game being played behind the scenes. Someone powerful is pulling the strings, and the Marshalas may have walked right into a carefully planned trap. Kayce begins to notice the warning signs first. Small details that others might miss start to add up in his mind. Strange movements, suspicious locations, and clues that don't quite fit together. The more he investigates, the more it becomes clear that the criminals are not just running away, they're actually leading the Marshalas somewhere. And that realization changes everything. Instead of backing down, Kayce pushes forward. His instincts tell him that the truth is close, and he's not the kind of man who walks away when things get dangerous. But that determination might be exactly what his enemies were counting on. Meanwhile, the rest of the team begins to feel the pressure building. They trust Kayce's judgment, but the situation is escalating fast. Every step forward feels like walking deeper into unknown territory. The enemies they're facing seem to know too much about their plans, their timing, even their strategies. That raises a terrifying possibility. The trailer hints that betrayal could be closer than anyone expects. Suspicious looks between characters, tense conversations, and moments of silence suggest that trust inside the team might start to crack. And when trust breaks in a high-risk operation, the consequences can be deadly. But the biggest shock arrives near the end of the trailer. Just as the Marshalas close in on a crucial moment in the investigation, chaos suddenly erupts. Everything happens in a split second. A hidden enemy, a sudden movement, and then a loud gunshot echoes through the air. And Kayce is the one caught in the middle. For a moment, everything freezes. The team is stunned. The man who always protects everyone else has suddenly become the victim of the attack. The trailer doesn't fully reveal what happens next, leaving fans with a massive question hanging in the air. Was this a random attack, or was Kayce the main target all along? The possibility is terrifying, because if someone planned this carefully enough to take down Kayce, it means the enemy understands exactly how dangerous he is, and if they were bold enough to pull the trigger, it means they're ready for a much bigger war. Episode 3 is clearly setting the stage for one of the most intense chapters of the series so far. The attack on Kayce isn't just a shocking moment for drama, it could completely change the direction of the story. Now the mission becomes personal, and when a Marshal is attacked, the rest of the team won't stop until they uncover the truth. If you want, I can also write Section 2 and Section 3, each 5,000 characters, continuing the suspense, and revealing who might be behind the attack. The shocking gunshot aimed at Kayce doesn't just create chaos, it completely changes the direction of the mission. In a single moment, the Marshalas realize that this case is far bigger and far more dangerous than they ever imagined. What once seemed like a controlled operation suddenly turns into a desperate fight. The trailer hints that betrayal could be closer than anyone expects. Suspicious looks between characters, tense conversations, and moments of silence suggest that trust inside the team might start to crack. And when trust breaks in a high-risk operation, the consequences can be deadly. But the biggest shock arrives near the end of the trailer. Just as the Marshalas close in on a crucial moment in the investigation, chaos suddenly erupts. Everything happens in a split second. A hidden enemy, a sudden movement, and then a loud gunshot echoes through the air. And Kayce is the one caught in the middle. For a moment, everything freezes. The team is stunned. The man who always protects everyone else has suddenly become the victim of the attack. The trailer doesn't fully reveal what happens next, leaving fans with a massive question hanging in the air. Was this a random attack, or was Kayce the main target all along? The possibility is terrifying, because if someone planned this carefully enough to take down Kayce, it means the enemy understands exactly how dangerous he is, and if they were bold enough to pull the trigger, it means they're ready for a much bigger war. Episode 3 is clearly setting the stage for one of the most intense chapters of the series so far. The attack on Kayce isn't just a shocking moment for drama, it could completely change the direction of the story. Now the mission becomes personal, and when a Marshal is attacked, the rest of the team won't stop until they uncover the truth. If you want, I can also write Section 2 and Section 3, each 5,000 characters, continuing the suspense, and revealing who might be behind the attack. The shocking gunshot aimed at Kayce doesn't just create chaos, it completely changes the direction of the mission. In a single moment, the Marshalas realize that this case is far bigger and far more dangerous than they ever imagined. What once seemed like a controlled operation suddenly turns into a desperate fight. The team is thrown into confusion. Kayce has always been the one leading from the front, the one who stays calm, even in the most dangerous situations. But now, seeing him become the target shakes everyone. It's not just the shock of the attack, it's the realization that their enemy is bold enough to strike directly at one of the strongest members of the operation. And that raises a chilling question. Was Kayce simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was he the exact person they wanted to eliminate? The trailer strongly hints that this attack was not random. Every move the criminals made earlier now starts to make sense. The strange clues, the carefully planned distractions, the feeling that the Marshalas were always being watched, it all begins to connect. Someone had been studying them. Someone knew their movements, their timing, and their weaknesses. That means the enemy wasn't just reacting. They were planning. As the tension rises, the Marshals begin to realize that they may have been manipulated from the very beginning. Every lead they followed may have been designed to guide them toward this exact moment. If that's true, then the attack on Kayce wasn't just part of the plan. It was the centerpiece of it. Meanwhile, the pressure inside the team becomes heavier. Emotions run high, and the sense of urgency grows stronger with every passing minute. The Marshals understand that if they hesitate now, the criminals responsible could disappear without a trace. But chasing them blindly could make things even worse. The trailer suggests that the people behind this operation are not ordinary fugitives. They operate with precision and patience, almost like a well-trained unit. Their strategy is careful and ruthless. They strike suddenly, disappear quickly, and leave very little evidence behind. And that level of organization points to something bigger. It suggests that there may be a powerful network operating behind the scenes. A group that has resources, connections, and a clear agenda. If that's true, then Kayce's shooting might only be the first move in a much larger conflict. The Marshals begin to dig deeper into the case, searching for anything that could reveal the truth. But the more they investigate, the more complicated things become. Every answer seems to lead to even more questions. Who are these people really working for? How did they learn so much about the Marshals? And most importantly, why was Kayce such an important target? Some members of the team start to believe that Kayce may have unknowingly gotten too close to a dangerous secret. Maybe during the investigation, he discovered something the criminals desperately wanted to keep hidden. If that's the case, then the attack wasn't just about revenge or intimidation. It was about silencing him. That idea sends a wave of tension through the entire operation. Because if the enemy is willing to go this far to protect their secret, it means they will do anything to stop the Marshals from uncovering the truth. The trailer builds this feeling of danger perfectly. Every moment suggests that the team is walking deeper into a hidden war where the rules are completely different. The criminals they're facing are not afraid of law enforcement. In fact, they seem confident enough to challenge it directly. And that confidence makes them even more dangerous. But despite the chaos, one thing becomes clear. The Marshals are not backing down. Instead of retreating, the attack only strengthens their determination. They know that whoever is responsible has crossed a line that cannot be ignored. Now the mission is no longer just about catching criminals. It's about justice. Because when someone takes a shot at a Marshal like Kayce, the response will quickly and leave very little evidence behind. After the shocking attack on Kayce Dutton, the situation becomes more intense than ever. The Marshals now understand that they are not simply chasing criminals anymore. They are facing an enemy who is bold, calculated, and completely fearless. Someone out there made the decision to pull the trigger on Kayce. And that means this battle has officially become personal. The team begins to realize that the attack was meant to send a message. It wasn't just about stopping one man. It was about shaking the confidence of the entire operation. Whoever is behind this clearly wants the Marshals to feel pressure, fear, and uncertainty. But instead of breaking their spirit, the attack begins to ignite something even stronger inside the team. Determination. Every member of the unit now understands that walking away is not an option. Kayce has always been the kind of man who stands between danger and the people he protects. Now that he has become the target, the rest of the Marshals feel an even deeper responsibility to finish what they started. They know the criminals responsible believe they have the upper hand, but the trailer strongly hints that this belief may soon turn into a dangerous mistake. As the investigation moves forward, new clues begin to surface. Small details that once seemed unimportant suddenly start to reveal a bigger pattern. The Marshals slowly piece together the truth that the attack on Kayce was connected to something far larger than a simple criminal operation. There are hidden players involved, people who prefer to stay in the shadows while others do their dirty work. This discovery raises the stakes even higher. Because if powerful figures are secretly controlling the situation, then the Marshals are not just fighting criminals anymore. They may be challenging an entire network of influence and corruption. That realization explains why the enemies were willing to take such a risky step by targeting someone like Kayce. They were desperate. And desperate enemies are always the most dangerous. The trailer builds suspense by suggesting that the truth is getting closer with every step the Marshals take. But at the same time, danger is also closing in around them. The criminals know the Marshals will not stop now, which means they are likely preparing for another move, possibly an even bigger one. Some hints in the trailer suggest that the next confrontation could be explosive. The tension between both sides is building quickly, and it feels like everything is leading toward a massive showdown. The Marshals are determined to uncover the mastermind behind the attack, while the enemy seems ready to protect their secrets at any cost. And right in the center of this storm is Kayce. Even though he was the target of the attack, his role in the story may become even more important moving forward. If he survives and returns to the fight, it could completely change the balance of power. Because the criminals might believe they removed the biggest threat, but they may have only made him even more determined to expose them. That possibility creates one of the biggest questions heading into episode 3. Will Kayce recover and rejoin the mission, or will the team have to face the coming storm without their strongest warrior? The trailer carefully keeps that answer hidden, which only makes the suspense stronger. Fans are left wondering whether this shocking moment will become a turning point for the entire series. If Kayce rises again, the enemies who tried to silence him might soon realize they created a problem far bigger than they expected. And if the Marshals finally uncover the truth behind this attack, the people responsible may find themselves facing consequences they never imagined. Because one thing is absolutely clear, after this trailer, the war has officially begun. And when the Marshals strike back, the people hiding in the shadows won't be able to run forever. As the tension continues to rise after the attack on Kayce, Episode 3 begins to feel like the turning point of the entire story. The Marshals now know they are dealing with enemies who are not afraid to take extreme risks. Shooting Kayce was not just an act of violence, it was a calculated move meant to create fear and confusion, but instead of weakening the Marshals, it pushes them to fight even harder. The team starts moving with a new level of urgency. Every clue is now treated as critical. Every lead becomes a possible path toward the truth. The attack has forced them to realize that time is no longer on their side. Whoever planned this operation is already several steps ahead, and if the Marshals want to stop them, they must move faster and smarter than ever before. But something else begins to bother the team: the precision of the attack. It becomes more and more obvious that the criminals had detailed knowledge of the Marshals' movements. The timing of the ambush was almost perfect, which suggests that someone may have been feeding information from inside or from very close to the investigation. This idea creates a new layer of suspense because it means the enemy might not just be outside the operation. They might be watching through somewhere much closer. The possibility of hidden betrayal starts creating tension among the Marshals themselves. Trust is one of the most important things in a high-risk mission, and once that trust begins to crack, the situation becomes even more dangerous. If someone connected to the case is secretly helping the enemy, then every move the team makes could be compromised, and that means the next attack could come at any moment. Meanwhile, the criminals responsible for the ambush remain hidden in the shadows, but the trailer hints that their confidence is growing. They believe their plan is working. By targeting Kayce, they think they have shaken the Marshals enough to slow down the investigation. But what they don't are